Okay, guys, today I want to talk to you again about the Second Amendment, and it says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay, so what we're looking at here is basically the last four words, shall not be infringed. Okay, what does infringement mean? Well, it means to step on, trample, otherwise regulate, or any other thing that would get in the way of you exercising that right. That's basically, in a nutshell, what infringement means. So, if our rights in the Constitution, as they say, are inalienable and given to us by God in nature's law and nature's God, all right, the federal government has no right to abridge, restrict, contain, eliminate, change, or otherwise infringe on your God-given right to keep and bear arms. Now, according to a recent study I just kind of glanced over by the NRA, it says there's over 20,000 gun laws in the United States. When the Second Amendment to the Constitution that was written by we, the people, says there should be none. How did they get away with that? Why do we allow them to get away with that? That's really the question. So, when you think about the Second Amendment and the last four words specifically, shall not be infringed. I'm smoking, sorry. Or I was. Till this asshole government forced these cigarettes to be laced with more chemicals that force them to go out by themselves. Anyway, I digress. But if the Second Amendment really means what it says, and it does, that it shall not be infringed, and that the people have a right to keep and bear, that means if you need to, you can use the weapon that you have in your hand, and it doesn't mean a musket. I'm so tired of that stupid, antiquated argument. Okay? Then it means that I can own a Sherman tank, I can own an M1 Abrams tank. I should be able to have a Laws rocket launcher if I want one, an M203 grenade launcher if I want one. Okay? The Second Amendment was made to keep the people who created this government, all right, in the charge. That's what it means. It means that the people are supposed to be in charge, and they need to defend themselves against a tyrannical government by any means necessary. And hopefully, that never, ever means to bear arms against our government. It never means that. And I'm not insinuating that it does. But for one second, if that needs to come into place, we're outnumbered, we're outgunned, because they legislate us into submission, when they're the ones that are supposed to be the servants of we the people. The Constitution says that we're governed by the consent of the people. The people need to be consentful of the government. If they don't consent to the government, then the government is null and void. Okay? So if our arms are restricted to the point where we cannot match them gun for gun, missile for missile, bomb for bomb, plane for plane, caliber for caliber, rate of fire for rate of fire, they're winning. They're winning. And they know they know that they have us over a barrel if we choose to rebel. All right? And they're pushing us further and further and further towards that rebellion. And with the amount of veterans that we have that are disgruntled, that are upset, that are pissed off, they have an issue. Even with semi-automatic weapons, they're going to have a huge fight on their hand. So, hence, states like California, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, specifically New York, that communist Cuomo, I don't know why you guys allow him to stay in office. But they're all restricting the amount of rounds you can have in a magazine, and that directly impacts your rate of fire. You know, they don't want you to have the ability to fight back. You shouldn't have to fight back against a government that you consent to. It's when you stop consenting, when you stop giving your permission to what they're doing, that they start to worry. Okay? We've stopped giving our consent to this government years ago. They just refuse to listen. And most of us are too chicken shit to force the issue. I'm not calling for a civil war. We don't need that. Civil war is just pandemonium. Elections are rigged. They don't work. Nobody's going to get what they want in an election. All right? Because the government has it all fixed. Why do you think they went to electronic ballots? They can control all that stuff. They just change the numbers around. And the people are so dumbed down and stupid that they don't give a shit. I mean, every once in a while they'll pitch a fit, but 2 weeks later, it's gone and it's forgotten. So the last thing they need to do, or the next thing I should say, they need to do, is to take your guns away from you and leave you with Joe Biden's get a shotgun. Get a shotgun crap. Okay? That's what they want to relegate you to. A single shot, breech loading shotgun. Okay? That's not going to do anything for you when the government is out there and there's 15 people standing there waiting for you as 2 or 3 of them kick in your door without a warrant, because now that's legal. They don't really need a warrant. They can write one by themselves and just call it into a judge and say, yo, Your Honor, I'm over at so-and-so's house. I'd like to kick in the door, take everything he's got. Is that all right? And the judge says, yeah, man, let's go out for drinks later. Be careful. That kind of crap is going on in this country. All right? And police are beating the snot out of handcuffed individuals. They're sicking dogs on handcuffed individuals. I mean, people that are raising their hands in submission are getting the snot kicked out of them. And they do it, of course, after they're already handcuffed or subdued. And if they're not already handcuffed, they 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 against one just to make sure you're dead or you don't have the ability to speak in your own defense afterwards. Okay? This is nothing but a thugocracy as far as the police department is concerned. Don't ever cross that thin blue line, you know? Whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. You know, cops are not supposed to be honest. They're supposed to play by union rules and the code of conduct set forth by the police department. So if they want to go out and kick the crap out of everyday law-abiding citizens because they don't do exactly what they're told when they're told to do it, and they assert their rights, you know what? It's time for them to get treated like the guy in Pennsylvania is treating the state cops. I think all police departments should be held accountable for their actions. If they want to beat up on their citizenry, they should be afraid that their citizenry is going to be able to bear arms against them. Okay? That's a check and a balance that's been accounted for by the Second Amendment of this Constitution. They don't like it. They're afraid of it. They want you to submit. And for those of you who don't submit, God forbid you ask a question. If you ask a question, you're going down. It's all part of it, brother. And the people that are trying to add more laws, more gun control laws, more regulation, because they don't like the well-regulated militia, they don't like the right to keep and bear arms. I got news for you. The government did not give us the Bill of Rights. We, the people, wrote the Bill of Rights for the government, okay? And the Constitution for the government. The people are over and above the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. If you are running for office or in office or hold an elected office, you are under the Constitution. We, the people, are above it. Okay? You can't regulate or legislate us into submission. We do that to you. And you agree to it by running for office. Leave us the fuck alone. That's what I got to say about that.